What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and in this week's course I'm going to be showing you everything you need to know about plumbing in Revit. So I'm going to be showing you how to do all of the sanitary pipes for taking the water away from the house, as well as how to get water to the house. So we have our cold water, then we connect that to our hot water heater, and then we have both the cold and hot water for all of our fixtures. So for the shower, for the sink, for the bathroom, or for the water closet, then here for the kitchen as well. We have this double sink with these two then fittings for the sanitary waters. We have a hot water heater here. We have a big one, a tank here, and these are those tankless heaters, water heaters. So the one here and one here as well for this little bathroom. So if I go maybe into floor plan, this is what that looks like in the floor plan. I show you how to link up the Revit file, the architectural project, how to set up the architectural project for plumbing, and then how to import it and create your plumbing project in Revit, how to set up all of the plumbing fixtures in two cases. One case is where the architect left all of the fixtures for you to set up, and in this case architect, as you can see, already set up the fixtures. So you just need to add the connectors and then make that work. So I show you all of that. I show you on three different cases. Here we have this little simple bathroom, and also here we have a drain in the middle of the garage that I think is really important, and then we have a regular bathroom as well as the kitchen. So multiple cases, so I pretty much show everything you need to know as far as that is concerned. And also in the end, we're going to be exporting some schedules that have all of the elements, all of the pipes used with all of the segment lengths and sizes, so you can order everything pre-cut and then you just assemble it on the construction site. And of course, when constructing this in Revit, you will immediately know how much everything will cost. So that's what this week's course is going to be all about. I'm going to be using the project file, the architectural file from my course on how to basically create a whole architectural project from start to finish, a 5-part course. This is what we end up at part 5, and that's what I'm using for this project. So if you haven't seen that already, I suggest you check that out. Okay, with that out of the way, without further ado, let's get into this project. So let's start by opening up the residential house project, part 5. The reason it's called part 5 is just because the original course has 5 parts. So this is the house that we have at the end of part 5. So anyways, if we take a look here in the floor plan, you're going to notice that we have one bathroom over here, we have another water closet over here, and here we have the kitchen. Also, we have a garage. Now, garage doesn't have really any source of water, but it's good to have some sort of a drain on the floor of the garage, just because you might spill something. That's where the car is. Maybe when the car is wet or there's snow on it, it will drip down on the ground, and it's really useful to have a drain. So all the wet spaces, so to speak, will be the garage, the water closet, number 12, the kitchen, that's number 3, and this here bathroom. Now, there are a couple of approaches when working with MEP, and I'm going to explore how do you link this project up with a new or how do you link it inside of a new plumbing project. But there are also two approaches there as well. So there's an approach where you can use the existing fixtures that you have over here, the plumbing fixtures. If I go into the level 00 floor plan, you're going to notice that here we have some sort of a water closet, we have our sink, we have our shower. So we can use those, or we can load new ones in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this water closet as is with the architectural project, and then for this one I'm just going to get rid of all of the plumbing fixtures, so the shower, the water closet, the sink, and I'm going to do the same thing for the kitchen. Here we have this kitchen sink, and I'm going to get rid of that as well. So I'm just going to hit delete here, and there we go. Okay, so with that done, now this project is, I guess, it's ready to be kind of messed around with in the Revit plumbing template or in a new plumbing project. So if I'm happy with this here, I'm just going to hit save, And then I can close this project off, so I can hit escape a couple of times. And if I minimize Revit, here we have, you can see we have a new one with the kind of 001, which means that we have kind of saved that change. And now we can start a new project in which we're going to be linking this project up. So I just made that simple adjustment. Sometimes you're going to be leaving all of the plumbing fixtures that the architect put in, and sometimes you're going to be deleting them and placing your own, or sometimes architect won't even leave any plumbing fixtures, so you will have to add those. So what I'm going to do now is find the plumbing template, and if I go here to projects, now keep in mind that this is Autodesk Revit 2019, so this is what you have as far as templates here, and we don't really have any plumbing templates, but that's okay. What you can do is always you can go here to new, and then you have your template file, and here we have those same options that we have here, but still no plumbing option. Luckily we have the browse button, and once I click that, we're going to get a new US metric template menu, and here you can find your plumbing default metric. Now if you're using Imperial, just jump back a folder, and here you have your US Imperial, and here you have your plumbing default Imperial, but because I'm going to be using a metric project and I'm usually used to working in metric units, that's why I'm going to go with the plumbing default metric. Okay, with that selected, I'm just going to hit open, and once again just double check, hit OK, and there we go. Now we have a new plumbing project. Okay, once we're here, the first settings that I'm going to change is just change the units. So I'm just going to type in UN to get my project units dialog, and let's just change the length to centimeters. I just prefer centimeters for units of length, and then let's just hit OK. Okay, so for now we really have nothing inside of this project, so let's load in, or let's link up our architectural project. So to do that, you need to go here to the Insert tab, and we have the Link Revit option. So just click there, go to your desktop or wherever you saved your file, and let's just save this file here, the residential house project part 5. Okay, just hit open. Wait for a second, and here it is. So we have that project, and you're going to notice that it is kind of in the halftone option, and that's really useful. But what I usually find is a problem, it doesn't get pinned down. So when you load in CAD files, they're usually pinned down immediately, just once you load them, but your Revit links won't get pinned down. And I find this a bit annoying, because when working you might accidentally drag your whole architecture project, and then you create a whole mess because then nothing fits. So what I suggest you do in this case is just select the whole project, so it's all highlights in blue like this. And then you have on your Modify tab, here on the Modify panel, you have the Pin option. Also, the shortcut is PN, so you can just type in PN, and as you can see here, we have this pin, and it's pinned in place. And in any case, if you have to move it, as you can see, it won't move like this, but if you unpin it, then you can of course make that change. So I'm just going to go back, select it, and then just pin it in place. So this just basically makes it easier so you don't move your project around. Okay, the next thing you need to do is you need to align your levels, just because your levels should probably fit the model that you're working in. So if I go here into one of the elevations, let's go to south elevation, you're going to notice that we have multiple sets of levels. So here, if we go to our views for our plumbing discipline, for plumbing, we have floor plans, and we have 1 plumbing and 2 plumbing. So that's level 1 and level 2. And here, if you select it like this, if you select your linked file, as you can see, these levels highlight in blue. So that means that these are basically imported levels. So what I suggest you do is you basically overlap your levels with the imported levels. So as you can see, level 1 is kind of already overlapping with a 00 floor plan, so we can leave that as is. Just one thing that I like to do, just to make it a bit easier, I kind of split this in two, kind of move it maybe like this. Okay, just like that. I just find it a bit easier to work with. And then a level 2, I'm going to do the same thing, move it up a bit, but first I need to align it. So use the Align tool, either by typing in AL or by going here to Modify and then going to Align. So just select the roof level and then align the level 2 to that. You can lock it in place, you don't have to. I suggest you do if there's still maybe an architect working on the other project, so maybe they will make a change, but in any case I'm just going to leave it as is because we won't have any changes to the architectural model afterwards. Okay, so we have our levels aligned and here we have our floor plan. Now for the floor plan, what you can do sometimes is you can create a set or some sort of a call out for all of your rooms in which you have your plumbing. I'm not going to do that at this point just because it's a small house and I want to do the complete kind of plumbing with the connection to the street grid, and then later on I can divide that into separate rooms, maybe to make it a bit easier for the contractor that has to actually build this thing. Okay, so with that out of the way, now we can start playing around with the plumbing fixtures. First, let's explore what to do in the case of this little water closet over here, the small, I guess, guest bathroom. What to do over here when you already have your plumbing fixtures placed, and usually architect would place these plumbing fixtures. So what to do in this case. And before I start explaining, you might just notice that this here water closet is it's darker, or the lines are black and the rest of the model is kind of in halftone. So the reason this is dark is if I select it, well, if I select it, I'm going to select the whole model. But if I hit the tab key a few times, I can select the actual water closet, and you're going to notice that here it says plumbing fixtures. So basically it's categorized as plumbing fixtures, and in this template everything that's a plumbing fixture is going to be highlighted like this, and pretty much the rest of the elements are going to be in halftone. So if I go here and select this thing, even though you can say this is a plumbing fixture, when it was loaded in by the architect, well, me in this case, it was loaded in as a generic model, so that's why it's in like halftone. So just keep that in mind, or that's the explanation why it looks like this. Okay, so we have these elements, and now for our plumbing project we will have to add all of the pipes that are coming to and going away from these two plumbing fixtures. So because if we select any of these, so if I select this, we don't really have anywhere to plug in our pipes. So we have to have one pipe in for cold water, and we have to have one sanitary pipe leading out of this thing, and we don't really have any. So in that case, what you need to do is you need to add a connector. So a connector allows you to use the original family that the architect placed, and then you just add that little connection where the where your pipe can be plugged in, so you can calculate where and draw where your plumbing is going to go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go here to insert, and we need to load in those connectors. So I'm going to go here to load family, and it takes me to the US metric library. We scroll a bit down, we have our plumbing here, MEP, then go to your equipment. Here we have connectors, and I'm going to go with the cold water, with the hot water, as well as the sanitary plumbing equipment pipe connector. Hit open, and it's just going to load in those elements. And now to place them, you just need to go here to your systems tab. Here on our plumbing and piping, we have the plumbing fixture option. So this is like a component just for plumbing. So in architecture you have your component, and here in systems you have you have like mechanical equipment, you have plumbing fixture, and then you have electrical equipment and lighting fixture. So it's basically the same thing. It's a component or a family that can be placed just like that. Okay, so let's go back to systems, go to plumbing fixture, and then let's search for that connector that we've loaded in. Let's see. And if it's not appearing over here, then you just need to double check on the architecture tab for component. Yeah, sometimes it might be over here, so let's search for that. Yeah, here we have our pipe connectors. So we have the domestic cold water, the domestic hot water, and the sanitary. So let's do the cold water first, just because this is a water closet, so we need somewhere to like place the cold water one. So let's go here to standard, and then just come to this face of this wall, and let's place it over here. And I like to place the cold water connector just kind of off to the side, and then in the middle I will be placing the sanitary connector. So let me just see. Yeah, this looks all right. Yeah, let's just place it like this, and we can flip it off to the other side just by using this little button. So I like to flip it towards the wall so we can kind of continue our all of our pipes into the wall, so to hide them inside of the wall. So here we have that connector, and in this case it's a 30mm connector, and I'm very happy with that. That's quite alright for getting cold water here. Now let's go and let's do the sanitary connector. And one more thing that we need to double check is the elevation. So here, as you can see, it says 0. I like to place it at least like 40 centimeters high, maybe even higher. We can go like 60 centimeters, so it's closer to where it should be for the water closet. Okay, so now let's do the sanitary connector. So let's just go to component, let's find our pipe connector, sanitary plumbing equipment. So that's the one that we want to use. And for this one, we need to see what's the radius. So the radius is 15mm. Let's change that to something larger, like 50mm, and then we can place it over here. Let's see, we can place it just like that, and then we can select it and flip it on the other side. So that means it's 100mm out. And this, if you take a look, the elevation is 0. So maybe if I go to the south elevation, it's going to look like this. But taking a look at this plumbing fixture, it probably shouldn't be 0. It should be maybe at 10 centimeters. So let's see. Yeah, this looks a bit more realistic looking at the whole water closet. Maybe even a bit higher. Let's try 15. Yeah, I think this is going to suit it a lot better. Okay, so we have that connector over here. So we're pretty much done for this here water closet. Let's go back to our level 1 floor plan, and we need to do the same thing here for this sink that we have. Okay, so for the sink, we need to go to component. We need to add now pretty much all of the connectors. So let's see. We have the cold water connector. So let's go with the domestic cold water connector. Let's place it over here. Let's take a look. The radius 15mm. That's all right. So let's place it. Let's place it off to the side like this. Flip it to the other side. There we go. So we have that one. Now let's see, let's go to component again, and let's go with the hot water connector. So let's place that one kind of off to the side here, and let's flip it to the other side just like that, and that's 30mm. You're going to notice that even the kind of this icon looks, it has that little reddish color, and when you select this one, it has the blue one. So you can distinguish even through that if it's a cold water in or a hot water in. Make sure that it says in here. That means that it's basically feeding water into your plumbing fixture, and here where it says out, it means that it's basically taking the water away, and that's for your sanitary pipes. You can also go with the align tool. So go with the align tool, find the center of this thing, find the center of this thing, and then you can even lock it in place. So if the architect maybe moves this water closet off to the side a bit, this thing will follow. So that's really important. Okay, so we've got these two here off to sides, and let's in the middle, let's place the sanitary out. So let's go with that thing. So for that, I think we should drop these two maybe to 20mm. Okay, this one as well. Okay, and then the sanitary one can be something like 32mm. So let's go to component. Let's go with the sanitary one, and let's place it over here just like that. Now select it, flip it to the other side. So basically flip work plane. I'm going to type in 32, just because usually it's 32 for your for sinks, at least in my country. In your country, you might have different regulations, so just make sure to double check that. But anyways, let's go over here. Let's align it to the sink if we can. So just go to the align tool, try to find some middle line, so something like this. Yeah, align it, and then you can even lock it. So here we have our out, and we have our cold water in and our hot water in, and there we go. We're all set with this small bathroom. So here we used the architectural project with all of the plumbing fixtures, and then we've just added our pipe connectors. Yeah, before we continue, one more thing that I forgot to do, and that's to set the elevation. So for these two that are feeding the water in, the elevation will be around something like 80 centimeters. And for the sanitary one that's kind of taking the water away, for sinks, at least looking at the regulation in my country, it should be around 40 centimeters. So I'm just going to set it like that, and now we can continue on. Okay, now let's move on to the rest of the house. So first, let's do the garage, as it is way simple. So here we have, it's just a simple garage with some sort of a tile floor. So there we should have just some drain probably in the middle of it. So to do that, usually you don't have to download the drain. Usually you have it already loaded in with your template. So just go here with component. Okay, I'm going to save a bit later. And then you can search here, we have drain. Okay, here we have a floor drain, a round one. So let's go with the 150 millimeter strainer with let's go with a 100 millimeter drain. Let's go, let's go with 80. Okay, so the elevation, of course, it's 0, it's on the floor, so let's go place on face or on a work plane. Maybe the best thing is to go with a place on a work plane, and then you can kind of place it here. I don't know, you can place it off to the side, and you're going to get a warning that it's not visible. That's just because it's basically in the same line as the floor, but kind of a little bit underneath. But if you go maybe to south elevation, you can see here we have that drain. So it does exist. It does have an 80 millimeter out, and this is 150 millimeters. So let's just double check. Yeah, it is 150 millimeters, but it's off to the side and we can't see it in the floor plan, so that's a problem. So to fix that is just go here to your plumbing floor plan, go into VR or view range, which can be found here under extents. You have your view range, so you can edit it there, or alternatively and quickly you can use the shortcut VR, and there we go. So just for the bottom, for the view depth, if you go to unlimited, you can see it now, and you can select it and just kind of move it in the center of this garage, and there you go. You have your drain, and here you can actually kind of use that out to create all of your pipes. Okay, so we've got our garage all set up. Now let's go to let's do the kitchen first, as it only has the sink over here, so that's quite simple. So to do the sink, I'm going to get a sink model. Now, to get a sink model, I prefer using the BIM object website. So the reason I go with BIM objects, and maybe you like to prefer using some other libraries or some other websites, this one is great because it has a lot of products. So it's basically manufacturers that are placing these products here. So it's really complete families with all of your all of these kind of outs, or all of your connectors already connected to your plumbing fixture family. So that's really useful. So if you don't understand quite what I'm talking about, don't worry, it will make sense in a second. So let's just go here to browse BIM objects, and let's search. So let's go with sink. Okay, let's search sink or kitchen sink. Yeah, that's even better. Okay, let's go with this one because it has kind of everything already set up. And the good thing about this, you can just go here to download, or you can, yeah, we only have this image. Okay, never mind. Let's go to download, and here we have the Revit model. So let's download that. Okay, I should probably log in, so I'm going to do that. Okay, so let's go here to download Revit. Okay, there we go. So just select it, and you can just kind of drag it off. Now you probably can't see my Revit icon, but basically I just drag it off to the Revit icon down on my menu, and then here I can just place it. So it's just updating it, and now it can be placed. Now it's by default it usually goes to place on vertical face, which doesn't really make sense, especially for a sink. So just make sure you go with place on face, and then you just select your countertop. You can go alternatively to work plane, but then you would have to set a new work plane. So that's just why I prefer place on face for this one. And then you can place it just here on your countertop. Just hit the space key to rotate it around, and then you can place it here. Select it and maybe move it in a bit, just so it's on your counter, and then you can play around with the arrow keys. But there we go. So the great thing about this is, as you can see here, we have the out, here we have another out, so that's because we have basically two sinks, and here we have the cold water in and the hot water in, and they're both 9.5 millimeters for this thing over here, and the out is 38 for this one and 38.1 for this one. So that's basically, you have all of your manufacturer information, and then you can basically just take this model straight into your you can basically just place it straight into Revit, and then you have all of your connectors all set up in the correct dimensions as the actual product from the manufacturer. So when you get this, when you order it for the house, everything will fit perfectly. Okay, so we've got that all set up. Here we can just double check. The elevation is 100, and that's actually the height of this countertop, so I'm sure that's right. And let's just figure out the bathroom now. So for the bathroom, I'm just going to go back to BIM object, and let's go back a few times. Okay, here we go. Let's go with sanitary. And then here for sanitary, you can see all of your options that you have. So let's see what do we need. So maybe toilets. Okay, so we have a lot of options. Maybe we can go with this one or something like this. I like to go with like the full package like this. Yeah, let's go with something like this. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Looks nice. Let's download that. Now we have this as a Revit family type catalog or Revit. Just make sure to download Revit every time. Sometimes you'll have even AutoCAD and ArchiCAD or something like that. So make sure you choose Revit, and then here just grab it, and then again go to that Revit icon, and then you can place it straight into the model. Now for this one, let's see. Okay, it should be floor based, so let's just go to work plane, and then it's going to place it on work plane level 1, orbit it around, and then you can kind of place it like this. Let's see if we go to fine detail. Will it change? Okay, it won't. Okay, and here as you can see, we have an in for 9.5 millimeters, and we have a 54 millimeter out on the bottom of this thing. Okay, so we have that, and let's just align it to the wall. So just go to the align tool, AL is the shortcut, and just lock it in place there. Okay, so we have this thing, and we can maybe move it up a bit. Okay, let's cancel. So you can use the arrow keys if it's a bit easier to just move it around. So let's set it up like, let's set it up here for now. Okay, so we need to add the bathroom sink. So let's go back to BIM object, go back again. Okay, so let's see all of these sanitary fixtures. Let's see, what do we have? Do we have some sort of a sink? Let's just search for sink, maybe that's easier. Or just scroll down, usually they appear over here. Yeah, let's just search for sink. It might be a bit simpler. Okay, so just go here, search. And then you're going to get a bunch of these. Some are for the kitchens, some are for the bathrooms. And just try to find something that fits. Usually I would go with wall based, so let's see, what do we have like that. Also here you have these batteries as well. Okay, so something like this can work. So let's select one of these. So you have the ones that I'm not really sure does it have the whole like battery, and in some of these you're going to have this 3D option, so you can basically orbit it around in 3D, which is really cool. So you can kind of, okay, so it doesn't really have that kind of the battery, but that's okay. So we can load it in like this, and then we can add that later on. So just go to exit, download, and here, as I said, so here you have multiples. So you have your AutoCAD, your ArchiCAD, the 3ds Max, IFC, SketchUp, and just make sure you go to Revit and download there. Maybe IFC would work, but I'd still go with Revit if that's an option. So go to Revit, and then just place it over here, and then maybe orbit around just like this and place it over here. Okay, it looks weird for some reason. Let's set the offset to something like 80 centimeters. Let's see, will it change? So even at fine level of detail, this looks a bit weird. Let's go into 3D. Okay, it looks great in 3D, it just looks weird in the floor plan. So let's go back here. You might have to play around a bit with the detail level, but for this one, something looks a bit weird for some reason. So you can always go into Edit Family just to see what's the problem. So here we have this thing, kind of the outside one, and I'm guessing it's something that has been created to kind of stand in when this is in other level of details. So let's go like this. Okay, I think it should work now. So just to delete that outer box. A lot of these families have that, so just keep that in mind. So I'm going to go here, load into project, and close. Okay, let's save the changes. Yeah, save over the file, override. Okay, we did not manage to fix that. Let's go back here to floor plan. Let's select it. Visibility graphics. Okay, we just need to make sure that we check here in plan. Okay, there we go. Should work now. Close, override. Yeah, override. There we go. So it looks a bit better. So we have that. Okay, so we have that thing, but as you can see, this one, the sanitary basin, it doesn't really have that those connectors. So unfortunately for this one, we'll have to add our own connectors. But let's add the kind of the battery, or so let's go here to BIM object. Let's go back. So something like this. Sync mixer. Yeah, we can. Let's see what else do we have as options. So you can go here to plumbing maybe, or yeah, let's go back to sinks. I think it's the better option. It's a bit hard to find the correct family, but yeah, when you find it, it's okay. So let's try again. Let's go sink. Okay, sink. Okay, let's go with basins. Maybe it will be a bit easier. Yeah, we can go with something like this. So let's see in 3D what that looks like. Wait for a second. Okay, it looks fine. We can use this. So just go to download, go to Revit, and then let's just place it inside of our model. So here, just orbit that around, place it there. Okay, you can't see it just because it's on the ground probably, so go to maybe south elevation, orbit around, find that thing, and then just go to move. And you just have to move it all the way up over here. Just like that. Maybe go even into wireframe. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is this looks all right. Okay, so with that in place, we can go back here. Okay, this looks decent enough. We can select this thing. Does it have the connector? Okay, unfortunately, this one doesn't have the connector either, so that's okay. We have to add our own connectors, but we can do that later on. It's basically the same process as we did over here. But let's do the shower now. Okay, so for the shower, let's see what we have here in BIM object for showers. Now, it would be great to find a particular manufacturer that you're happy with here in BIM object. Now, because this is just a simple project that I'm doing as a demonstration, I don't really have a I don't have a manufacturer in mind. Anyway, let's go to see more. Let's see with showers, or maybe shower trays. Let's see what works for our project. Maybe something like this. Let's go into 3D to see what that looks like. I just like to double check in 3D. Okay, it looks decent enough. So let's exit out of this. Let's download this thing. So go to Revit, load that in, and just place it here. Okay, so for this one, let's place it over here in the corner. Now, as you can see, I cannot select it. So I would like to move it here in the corner, but I can't. And the reason for that is probably because this is a plumbing fixture and this is probably saved as something else. So if I go to architecture and component, yeah, as you can see, this shower tray is actually specialty equipment. So I would like to change that, but I cannot select this. So what's the solution? Well, what you need to do is when nothing is selected, go here to properties and then just scroll down a bit, find the discipline, and now it says plumbing, but switch that to architectural for a second, and now you can select this thing. So before we continue, I just go here into edit family, and then we just need to change the category. So just go here to family category and parameters, and here it's, as you can see, the highlighted one is the specialty equipment. So I'm just going to go and select the plumbing fixtures, and now that's its category. So go load back into project, hit OK, yes. Let's override that, and there we go. Now I can go back to my properties for the view, go to discipline, and let's change it from architectural back to plumbing. And now, as you can see, it's clickable and we can place it. Also, here's our out, and I'm just going to rotate it to the other side because it should probably face maybe downward like this. Okay, and let's go to move and grab the corner and let's place it in the corner here. Okay, so we have our shower in place, and here we need to add one more element, and that's the water here, which is really important part of any bathroom. So let's go to architecture or go to insert, load family. Now water heaters are available here. So we have under equipment, we have water heaters, and let's go with this big one. Okay, so let's go with the big water heater, architecture, component, and there we go. So we can place it here off to the side. And as you can see, it has all of the connectors. Now, we're not going to be using all of these. We only need the, let's see, we only need the out, the hot water out, and the, what is this? Okay, we need that, and the electricity, and this is ducting. We don't need that. So we only need these two connections. So we have that water here. We can give it a bit of an offset, but for that I would go also to my south elevation, and then I would select it over here, and then maybe move it up a bit. So let's move it up like this and go almost to the ceiling, just like that. Okay, so we've got our water here. So this is where the out is, and this is where the cold water is. Okay, here we have the cold water in, that's okay, and the hot water out. So those are the important ones. These are the two ones that we're going to be using for this project. But also we need something for, let's see, we need something for the kitchen, but we can get this hot water to the kitchen. It's not that far away, but here for this one we need an alternative one. Or we can maybe add an alternative one for the kitchen as well. Maybe it's going to make the whole process a bit easier. So to do that, you will just go here to component, load family, and let's go with the tankless one. and then go here, make sure that place on vertical face is selected, just because this is wall based, and then you can place it here on the wall near your sink in the kitchen here. And also here you can place it in the bathroom, just on the other side of this wall, maybe here in this storage unit. So it's over there. So we have the hot water out, we have the cold water in, and we have a few more connectors that we're not really using, just because this is only for plumbing and not for electricity and all of the other elements. Okay, so we have all of our fixtures in place. We just need to just go over this one more time to add the connectors. So I'm just going to go with this one, go CS for create similar, and then just go and place it over here. Okay, if you can't see it, it's because it's probably on the ground. So okay, the elevation is 80. Okay, so that one is all right. Let's maybe make this transparent. So I'm just going to right click, override graphics and view by element, and let's make it transparent. I think it's going to make things a bit easier. Okay, there we go. So we've got our hot water in. Let's flip it to the other side. Now let's do the cold water one. So select it, right click, create similar, or just CS is the shortcut, and then let's place it off to the other side. Select it, flip it to the other side. Okay, that is fine. And now let's do this one, the sanitary one. So create similar, CS, I just typed that in, and let's place it over here, flip it. If I can select it, use the tab key. If you can't, flip it to the other side, and then let's just align it to the center of this thing, just like that. Okay, maybe we can move this further away. Okay, looks good. So now with all of these things set up, let's see, here we have everything. Okay, one more thing, we need the kind of the shower. So this is just the tray, but we need the actual shower. So let's go with, go back here. Let's go back. Okay, let's go shower. Or maybe just go here to categories. Yeah, let's go with showers. And you can use something like this. Let's see what looks nice. Okay, maybe something like this. So let's just select it. Okay, this looks decent enough, so let's download it. Make sure to go with the Revit one, and once it's downloaded, go here, transfer it into Revit. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, place on face. Okay, it doesn't have that place on vertical face option, so it makes it a bit more difficult. But what you can do in that case is maybe create a section in this thing. So just go here with your section. Just go through the bathroom like this. Open that up. So here it is. So we need to place it on this here wall. So then you just go back to component, and then you can place it maybe like that. Okay, and when you select it, you have the hot water in and the cold water in, and that's what's important. Go back into plumbing and maybe center it a bit, and there we go. So we have all of our fixtures, we have all of the connectors all set up, and now it's time to do the actual pipes. Okay, now let's start with connecting all of the pipes. So what I like to do first is connect the hot water. So here we have our water heaters, and I like to connect the water heaters with the hot in over here. So here we have the hot water in connector, and do the same thing on pretty much in everywhere where we have hot water connectors. Okay, first let's take a look at this here water here. So I like to do that in 3D. So just go to 3D, orbit around a little bit, and you're going to see your water here. Here is the kitchen water here. And just because we're using the plumbing template, that's why we have the link kind of appearing in halftone, and all of our fixtures are appearing like this. We can see it through our model. Anyway, let's just zoom in over here, select it, and as you can see, the hot water is here on the bottom. That's just important thing to know. Okay, so we have that over here, and now let's go back into our floor plan, and let's go. So this one over here, let's select it. Let's see. So this one over here is a bit lower. It's probably at 100, and this one is around 150. So let's select this thing, and now let's start creating the pipe. So as you can see, the offset is at 147. So we get that information over here. So let's start off maybe at, let's drop it down to 100. Let's say like that, and then go straight into the wall, just like that. Now, as you can see, it all lights up in red just because it's hot water. Then go ahead over here, connect it here, and then over here you can find this in connector. Okay, it can't go like that, so let's see. Let's select it and let's see. Okay, it's at 100. Let's go down to maybe 80. Okay, let's make it go like this. Okay, it's down at 80, and then maybe we can drop this whole thing down at 80 centimeters as well. Yeah, and then we can just make that connection. There we go. So it's kind of fitting from this thing to this thing, so from maybe a little bit of a larger pipe to a smaller pipe. And now if we go into 3D, it looks something like this. So as you can see here, we have that hot connection. It's going like this, and then it's connected to our water heater over here. Okay, so there we go. We have hot water connected over there. Let's continue on. So go back to level 1. So we have the hot water here over here. Let's select it for hot water. Go to offset. Let's go to 80 centimeters. Hit enter. Go into the wall. Then go like this over here. Let's see which one of these is hot water. Okay, this one is hot water, so maybe we can move this a bit like this. And then we can do the out. Just click over here on this little icon. Go just like that, and then there is the different connector. Okay, looks like this. Okay, this one is, it's a bit wide, it's 20 millimeter, and this whole thing is 15, so maybe we can drop this out to 15 millimeters. It's going to maybe make this all a bit simpler. So let's see, let's do this one at 15 as well. This one at 15. Okay, so it makes it all a bit easier. Okay, so that looks like that. So we have that connected over here. Now note that this here bathroom sink or wash basin doesn't light up in red as this thing did. That's just because the connector did. So because it's from the architectural model, so it won't highlight, but don't worry, the connector highlighted, and that's the important thing. That means that this is now connected with hot water. Okay, let's go back into level 1 floor plan, and let's do this one as well. So maybe go into 3D just to see what that looks like, where those connectors are located. Okay, they are up here, so that's a bit tricky, but don't worry, we're going to solve that. And then here we have this one over here, and then this one over here as well. Okay, so we're going to have to kind of move those up or move this down and then kind of connect it to these. So just keep that in mind. Okay, go to level 1 and select this thing, go here to create pipe, and then let's see what happens. So here, as you can see, the height is 296 centimeters. So let's go up to 300 and then go into wall. So let's go to 0 and then maybe straight here into the wall like this, or maybe let's go to this wall. Okay, so it goes to this wall, and then let's drop it down to 80 centimeters. I think that's the best option, and then we can go like this. Connect it all the way over here, go over here. Okay, so this is the cold one, this is the hot one. Let's go, let's see what's the height. Okay, it's at 80 centimeters, so that's perfect. And let's just connect those. Okay, we have that. Let's just connect this to the other side. Let's see, does that look correct? Okay, this one we need to change the fitting, because it needs to go to the other side. Or actually we can make a new one, maybe a bit higher, so maybe that's a better option. So let's go back here. Let's see what height is this. Okay, so this is at 115, so we can actually continue like that. Okay, segment is being drawn. Okay, so we have a problem there. So let's try by changing the height to maybe like 90. Let's hope this works. Okay, so this doesn't work as well. Maybe we need a bit of a longer piece of pipe. Okay, this works. Okay, so it should be a bit further into the wall, so maybe just select this, extend it like that, and then let's connect this to the main pipe. Let's see in 3D what that looks like. Okay, should connect here, so maybe let's try. So let's go back. So you can use trim and extend for this. Maybe go with, yeah, with that one, and then connect it just like that. So you saw what I did there, and there we go. So we have hot water connected to this shower and also to this connector here for the wash basin. Okay, so hot water is connected in all places. Now let's do the cold water. So for the cold water, let's go back into level 1. So let's do it first over here. So we need cold water going from this here water closet, then it needs to connect also to this here sink, and then it should go somewhere over here to meet up with the rest of the plumbing fixtures. Okay, to do so, let's go from here. This one is, let's see, it's at 60 centimeters. That's okay, so let's start off over there. It's 32 millimeters. I think we can drop this down to something like 15. I think that was way too large, so maybe select this thing. Yeah, let's make that adjustment to 15. Okay, much better. Now let's extend it here. Select this, extend it into the wall. Just go like this. Go straight here. And then let's go like this. Okay, so let's end it off somewhere over there, and now let's see what else can we do. Maybe go into 3D, maybe that will make things a bit simpler. Okay, so we have this connector over here. This is the cold water one. Okay, let's drop that down to 15 as well. Go back to level 1. Okay, so it's going to go from here, and let's start it off at the same height up to here. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay, looks perfect. So this is connected as well, and now this thing can go into the ground, and then we can continue off underneath the house. So maybe that that can be done over here, perhaps. So go here and just try to continue it off with another segment. So you can just right click and go create similar, and then go from there. Just change the height to let's do minus 40 centimeters. Oops, not 400, 40. There we go. So it should be going then underground, and then it should go somewhere over here. So let's go and get it there. Okay, so this is at minus 40, so let's go into 3D, just check that out, see what that looks like. Okay, so it's going underneath the flooring of the house, and that's all right. It's connected over here, it's connected over here. Okay, one more thing, it should be connected to the water here. So let's go here, and let's see, can we connect it in some way? Well, we need to go back into plumbing. Let's see, this is... Okay, this is at 60 centimeters, so go here, go with the cold water one, and then let's drop it down to maybe 130 at first. Go into the wall, and then it should go straight down, so let's go into 3D. Okay, there we go, so it's going perfectly into the wall and then down into cold water. Okay, so everything is connected over here. Let's move on over here. So let's go back to plumbing. Okay, let's see. So the plumbing, then the cold water is going through this wall. Let's say that's where it got to the house. So what we can do then is create, let's do a new segment. So I'm just going to type in CS for create similar, and then let's go like this, and let's take it all the way out of the house like that, perhaps, just so it goes all the way through the street level. Maybe move it in a bit, just like that. Okay, looks good for now. Let's go back to the segment, create similar, and let's connect it from here. And now let's go into the wall first. And now bring it up to maybe 40. So not minus 40, just 40. And then let's go like this. Okay, should go up here, and then this can be connected over there with the rest of them. So let's get rid of this segment and then maybe connect all of these together. Let's go into 3D. Okay, this segment doesn't look good, so just use the same tactics. So let's connect these two. Okay, they do seem to be a bit offset, so hit the tab key to connect them. There we go, so these are connected, and then you can just add this segment and then you will get this fitting. Okay, so everything is correct over here. So here, okay, this can be go a bit up, so let's just go back. Okay, so this fitting is at 80, so let's bring this whole thing up at 80, so not 40, 80. Okay, there we go. Go back into plumbing, select this thing, go here, extend it and connect it. There we go. Okay, this one is, let's see, it's 20 millimeter. Let's drop it down to 15. Yeah, let's do all of these at 15. Okay, so we have that. Now this is connected. The cold water here is connected. We can continue off like this. Then we need to select this thing. Here we have a 9.5 millimeter cold water. It's at 36. We need to bring it up to 80. But what I'm going to do is actually go straight into the wall, just like this. Okay, it doesn't allow me to do that. So let's try again. Let's then do it like, okay, I guess it needs to be a bit longer. Maybe like this. Okay, these can be sometimes tricky, the ones that you load in. Okay, so let's try it like this. Let's here bring it up to 80, and then let's try going into the wall. Okay, it doesn't allow me to do that either. Let's just see where that fitting is here on the water closet. So just select it. Okay, so it's over here. Okay, so it needs to go down. So you just need to look at it where it is. So then, as you can see here, it's on the bottom. So it does need to go down, then into the wall, and then up again to this pipe over here. So what you need to do then is to select it. Here it's at 36. Let's go with 30. And then go into the wall. Okay, maybe even lower. So let's try that. Let's do it at 20. Okay, there we go. It's connected now. So it's a bit tricky sometimes, especially when you need to figure out where the connector is and how you need to connect it. But as you can see here, we've figured it out, and it's going straight here into the wall, and it's connected to the cold water one. Okay, so now we just need to connect it to the hot water here and to this thing as well, and then also to the kitchen. Okay, so go back into plumbing. Let's extend this thing a bit, just like that. So it's at 80 centimeters. Let's see where this is. So if I select this thing, this is at 115. Okay, and this one, okay, I kept it at 115. Okay, so I'm just going to select this thing and go into the wall just a little bit. Okay, so it's not going to allow me. Sometimes you need to create maybe a bit of a longer segment, just like this. Okay, and now I can drop it down to 80. There we go. And just go over here and kind of connect it with this thing. If you can't see it because it's below, just go with trim and extend, and let's see. There we go. It works, and as you can see, it's connected. If you can't see it right, let's go into 3D. Okay, so we have some overlap over here. I don't like that. So let's fix that by making a change. Maybe select the hot water one and kind of extend it further into the wall. And then the cold water one, we can kind of make it closer. Okay, so here it's too short. Basically here we have some sort of a connector Okay, so let's see. What can we do in order to fix that? Okay, maybe we can change this. So this is at 15. Maybe we can try changing this to 15. Okay, and as you can see here, it's stuck. So let's go into edit family. Yeah, we're not going to be able to change that connector, but that's okay. We can move this one further out. There we go, and this one stays here, and now hopefully they're not overlapping. Let's go into 3D. Let's see. Okay, we just need to bring it up a bit perhaps. So let's bring this up to maybe 100 or 90. Okay, there we go. So it fixed that. This thing just needs to go a bit lower, so let's go back into level 1. So sometimes you may have to make some changes, but that's okay. So let's disconnect this here. Okay, disconnect, delete this. So leave just the connector and then drop it back down to 80 where it was, and then start off again. So just go here into the wall, go like that. Perhaps align these two, so just go to align, and then we can align them like this. So hopefully now we have, okay, we have that. Okay, and now we no longer have that overlap. This cold water is connected over here to the shower, and now we just need to connect the cold water to the water heater, and that should be a quick job. So just select the water heater, find the cold water in. Okay, it's kind of weird. Okay, this should be the cold water one, and then we should just go like this. Okay, for some reason it doesn't work. Let's see. Okay, this is the duct. Here we have basically an overlap, so you have to hit the tab key. Now it says create pipe, and now let's see, how can we, okay, we need to bring it up to 300. Okay, there we go, that was the problem. And there we go, it works now. So let's go into 3D. There we go. So it needs to go a bit up. So if the connector is on top, you have to kind of type in a bit of a higher value. This was 290, then I've just added a little bit more, and now it's perfect. It goes here into the wall, and there we go. It's connected over here, and it's perfect. So we have that cold water for this, and now we just need to finish off the kitchen, and we're done with all of the water that's coming to our fixtures. And then we just need to figure out a way to take the water away, all of the sanitary pipes. And let's just finish off this part by connecting our kitchen with the cold water supply. So what I'm going to do is go here. I think this is kind of the closest route to go. So what I'm going to do is just select this thing, and as you can see, yeah, it's -40. So I'm just going to right click, create similar, and then I'm going to go somewhere here aligned with this wall and just go like this. Okay, so I'm going to go up to here. And now I just need to check with the height. So here this is at 80 centimeters. So let's select it. Let's go with the cold water. And let's go with that one at 80. And connect it maybe like this. Okay, so we do have that. Now we can maybe move this along just like that. Now go again, right click, create similar. And then I'm just going to change the height to 80. And then connect it from here and go all the way up to here. Now let's see, can we connect this thing? I think it should connect perfectly. There we go. And just here, let's select this thing. And first, again, I'm just going to select this one just to see the height. Okay, that one is at 80, so I'm going to select this thing and go again 80 centimeters and just connect it over there. Okay, let's cancel. Maybe extend this like this. Then let's try again. Okay, we have a problem. Let's see. Okay, yeah, let's try with 80 centimeters. So select this thing, 80, and then go straight into the wall. Okay, there we go, it works. And now we can hopefully just trim and extend this thing, and there we go. So it is now connected. Now we can go into 3D, and there we go. So we have our cold water. Let's orbit around. yeah, as you can see, the cold water goes into here, the hot water goes into there, and here. Okay, here we have some overlap, so this is not good. So what I'm going to do perhaps is just select this thing and go up to maybe 90. So let's see, what does that do? Okay, it kind of brought this whole thing up, but yeah, it works. So I guess it can work like this, so it's going above this, so we don't get that intersection between these pipes. And here it's going straight to the street, and somewhere on the street you will have a street connection, and that's where you will connect your cold water. Okay, so far we have figured out how to get clean cold water to our building, how to heat it up using the water heaters, and then how to get to all of our plumbing fixtures. Now it's time to take the dirty water away, and that's by adding all of the sanitary elements. So here on the Systems tab you have your pipes, but for some routing preferences I want to insert some elements. So what I'm going to do is go here to Insert, Load Family, then search for Pipes. Okay, here we have pipe, then we have fittings, and I'm going to choose the PVC pipe just because that's what's used in my country mostly, and I'm just going to select all of these and open them up or load them into the project. Let's see, can this work? Let's just wait for a second for them to load, and there we go. Okay, now we can go here to Systems, we can go to Pipe, and here we have the PVC pipe, and I'm just going to go here into Edit Type, go to Routing Preferences, and then here I can just make sure that I use the PVC fittings for everything. So okay, here we already have PVC, here we have none, here we have PVC, so just make sure you set the PVC ones for everything. Okay, I'm going to leave this one as is. Okay, I think we have all of these set, so I'm just going to go OK, cross. Okay, so just hit apply, OK, and there we go. So we have our pipe all set up. Now we need to see each fixture and to figure out how to connect it. So I'm going to start off with this bathroom over here just because it has the most elements, so that's where I'm going to be starting. So I'm just going to go here into 3D, zoom in, and I usually like to start from the actual water closet just because it has the largest pipe or largest out for the pipe. It's usually 100 millimeters, at least under regulation in my country. Here, as you can see, it's 54 millimeters. So I'm just going to click there, and then here for the diameter, it's 65. I'm just going to make sure that it's, well, at least 80. Let's go with 80. Now go back into floor plan. Okay, I can go and do the same thing in floor plan, and then I want to go straight here into the wall, or you can go just underneath and kind of go from there. So those are the two options. So maybe let's go like that. So I'm just going to do the offset, or here first for the diameter 80 millimeters, and for the offset I don't want to go at ground level, I need to go underground. So let's go just underneath the floor at -40 for now. So go to -40, and then we can start heading just like this. Now, of course, you can go into 3D, and this is what that would look like. Now, one thing that I forgot to do, so I need to redo this again, is to set the slope. So keep that in mind. Like that, the pipe would be strictly straight. But if I go ahead and let's change this to 80, change this to -40, and if I go here to slope down and add a 2% slope, it will allow basically for any water to run because we have that slope, so it will just run like free fall. Okay, so here we have that connection, and now if I go into 3D, as you can see, we have a little bit of a slope. If we go straight left, zoom in, and as you can see, we have some slope. So this basically allows for water to get out, so that's really important. Go back into plumbing. Now we have to figure out the rest of the fixtures. So here we have this one. This is a 40 millimeter out, so we can go with that one. So we can keep it at 40 millimeters. Let's just do the offset at I don't know, let's start off with -35. And then we can go, can we do it at 35, at 45 degrees? I think we can. And then we can connect it straight into this. So there we go. So if you go into 3D, as you can see, now this is connected straight into that pipe. Okay, so now let's connect this thing. So for this one, I think we have this out. Yeah, it looks like this. So let's just go here into plumbing. Let's see, so we have an out. It goes straight into the wall at 40, so we can go maybe just like that. And then let's go underground at -40. And then I usually like to do 45-degree angles just because it's a bit harder to clog up, so it's at least under regulation in my country, it's usually better to use 45-degree joints instead of 90-degree joints in these cases when you connect to your larger pipes. So that's why I'm doing that. Okay, so we have pretty much everything connected for this bathroom, so that's okay. Now we have to figure out a kitchen and this small bathroom here, and especially the garage. That's really important as well. So go back here. Let's see, we can extend this a little bit. So we can extend it like that. Okay, then we can go from here. Let's see, it's an 80mm out at -17. So let's see, can we go straight here and then maybe do a 45 degrees? 45. Okay, so this doesn't work, I think, because it's a bit higher than this thing. So what we can do in that case is go into 3D. Let's see. Okay, so we need to bring this pipe a bit down. So how do you do that? Well, just to make it a bit simpler is you can go over here, drop it back just a little bit, go to create similar either by typing in CS or just right click and then create similar. And then you can do one, this segment was at 42 centimeters, so let's do at let's do minus, I don't know, 70. Okay, so we can have that little drop and then just continue off like this. Okay, and now hopefully this segment will be able to join up. There we go. So the problem was it was kind of too high, so now it can work. Okay, this is going a bit up, so that's not good. So let's go back. Let's see what the problem is. Okay, we don't have a problem there, so let's just then connect it straight down, perhaps. Let's try it like this. There we go, this can work. Okay, so you have to figure out a way for it to work. Sometimes it won't, just because this segment was higher than that one, so that's why we had that problem. So just try to figure out a way for it to work. Maybe we can even drop this down a bit or something like that, or this whole segment. So you can go maybe into south elevation. And yeah, drop this segment just a tad down, just for it to work a bit better, I hope. Okay, hopefully this will make it a bit easier to connect all of these pipes. Maybe just a bit more. Can we do that? Okay, we can't, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Okay, so we have that thing connected. Okay, so now let's connect this bathroom over here. So go back, plumbing. There we go. So again, I like to start from the water closet, so go from here. We need to go straight into the wall, but it's set to 100 and the rest of these are 80, so I'm just going to change this to 80 just to make it a bit simpler. So go straight into the wall at 15 centimeters, that's where the offset is. And then we can go down to maybe -10 just for it to be underneath the floor, and then hopefully under 45 degrees it can connect to this thing. Let's see. Okay, that works. That's brilliant. And now let's just connect this here sink. So for that we just need to select this thing, go straight into the wall first, just like that, and then just drop it down -10 centimeters into the floor. And there we go, we can just connect it straight to this pipe. And there we go, that's connected. So now if we go in 3D, as you can see, everything is going underneath the floor and everything is perfectly connected. So that's fine. And let's just now connect the kitchen to finalize all of these pipes for sanitary water. So for that, let's see, the kitchen only has this sink over here. So for that, what we need to do is go back to plumbing. Let's see. So for sink, Okay, we have the out that's over here, but over here we have a second out, so it's a bit more difficult, but don't worry, it's going to be okay. So what I'm going to do is select this one. Okay, that one is at 70, so let's do it at 60. Yeah, so let's go like this into the wall. Will it work? Okay, maybe we should go a bit further down. Let's try at 50. So sometimes you have to play around because each family is a bit different. So let's see, why isn't this working? So you need to kind of take a look at the family in 3D. Select it like this. Okay, it's going straight down, so it shouldn't be a problem. Offset. Yeah, let's go with... Let's try again at 50 perhaps. Or let's do it 40. Okay, so if it's giving you errors when you go like this and then maybe set it to 40 and go into the wall, and now we have an error and it doesn't work. So what you can do alternatively is just go straight to the pipe command, go here and do it at 40 centimeters, start from the center and then just go here into the wall. It is going to give you again a warning, then just continue off like this. And there you go. So it does give you a warning, but if you go into 3D, you're going to see that it is connected. So that's what's important. And still we have that slope. So I'm just going to select to connect the second one. So just go here and go again into pipe. Let's go with 40 centimeters. Go from this point, and then I'm just going to connect it to that pipe at 45 degrees. And there you go. So it's connected. And if we go into 3D, that's what it looks like. So it's perfectly connected to our kitchen sink. Okay, and we just need to figure out a way to connect it here. So let's see, how will that work? So if I go like this, okay, still we're here inside of a wall. So at this point, the height is at 31 centimeters. So we need to go down and perhaps connect it to this segment. I like to kind of test things out sometimes using these detail lines. So you can go just a detail line. So a detail line at 45 degrees, it's going to go like that. So maybe we can bring it up like this. So I know I should select this pipe and drop it over here. Yeah, so that will work. And then I can delete this detail line, select this pipe. Let's see, okay, this is at minus 40 something. So what I can do is select this thing and go to create similar. So just right click, create similar, and let's do it at minus 30 perhaps. And then go from this point at 45 degrees. So that's 135 in this case, and connect it like this. Okay, for some reason it didn't work, so let's try minus 20. Hopefully it will connect. Oops. There we go, and we have a connection. So sometimes if you go too low, it's not going to work, but in this case it worked like this, and it found a solution. So we had to bring it a bit higher, just like that. Okay, so there we go. It's connected over here, it's connected over there, and now we can just basically take it out here and connect it to the kind of street grid, wherever that might be. So everything is connected right now. We have all of the pipes, the sanitary pipes, and we have all of the water that's getting through the house over here. Again, I would suggest you go through and just make sure that nothing is overlapping, you don't have any collisions and things like that. And of course, you don't want your piping to go through maybe some construction elements, so double check that as well. And before we finish, one more thing that I think can be really useful is creating schedules for this. So you can go here to view, go to schedule, let's go new schedule quantities, and I'm going to go first with a pipe schedule. So just go here to pipe. Okay, so pipes, hit OK. Then here we have all of the parameters that we want to see in our schedule. I'm going to start off with family and type, then I want to add maybe the size. Let's see what else can be useful. Count, perhaps. Yeah, count. Also, let's see what other options. Length, that's important. And yeah, that's it. So let's keep these in mind. So I'm just going to move the length perhaps on top and count even on top of that. Okay, so we have all of these parameters. Let's go to sourcing and grouping under families. Let's add grand totals, and for formatting, for a length, let's calculate totals. Hit OK. And here we go. We have a schedule. Here we have the total length. Here we have the each pipe segment. So we have these pipes were used, one of each, and here you have all of the lengths and all of these sizes. So you can basically export this table and you can give it to somebody who can then perhaps pre-cut these and deliver these pipes already cut out to the construction site, and then somebody can just assemble them, making the whole process a lot simpler, and you know how much the whole thing will cost. Also, it's really nice to have a fittings schedule, so let's go here to schedule quantities. Let's go with plumbing fittings. Let's see. So here we have pipe fittings. Hit OK. Again, I'm going to go with family and type first, then the count, and then do we have size? Yes, we do. Okay, yeah, that's it. I think that this is enough. Sorting and grouping, family and type, and grand totals. Okay, we don't really need grand totals. Let's just go like this. Hit OK. And there we go. So these are all of the fittings that are used. So again, you can use this when ordering fittings for your construction site. You know how much everything will cost and how many of these you really need. So you have all of that information straight out of Revit. So just a couple of clicks and you have those two tables that are really important for the rest of the project. And of course, you have your whole 3D network that is going to make it a lot easier to assemble this when you give this to the person that should be assembling it. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this course. I hope it was useful, and I will be doing another course, of course, next week. So till then, thank you for watching and have a nice day.